Hey you guys, this is Jess with Sourceful Journey, back with another video. So I wanted to come to you guys today to go over some other key words and phrases that I've been seeing quite heavily. Out of the previous video that I did maybe a few days ago, I feel like I've forgotten quite a few, as well as another name that I've been seeing extremely heavily. Which for me, it actually holds some significance too, because it's tied to a passed on loved one. So yeah, without saying too much, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into my little list here. See you soon. Okay, so the name that I've been seeing extremely heavily, whether it may be in emails or maybe with people in passing, it was more so with people in passing. Like in my day-to-day, whether it was at work or maybe if I was in a store, things like that. And I would have conversations with these people. It's so bizarre. But anyhow, the name is Sarah. Now, for me, it holds significance because that was my late grandmother who passed away. She passed away in the late 80s. I was about maybe 4 at the time. And so I don't know who this might be for, but for me, my takeaway on it is that maybe that was her way of letting me know that she's there, because I literally lost count, and I'm not exaggerating, with the number of times that I came across a young lady or maybe an older woman whose name was Sarah. And this was within like the past 10 days, let's say 10 days at max. So it's one of those things personally where my takeaway, if you will, was that she was kind of like letting me know that she's there, or that she has always been there. So it really gave me a sense of comfort, just seeing this in general. Now I'm looking at the list here because there are some other things I didn't notice as far as phrases, words, acronyms, things of that nature. So we're gonna go ahead and just jump right in. So as far as an acronym, not sure what it stands for, but I've been seeing triple T. That may mean something to someone if they hear this. Another phrase, expect the unexpected. That is one I've heard for quite some time, well over a year to be exact. Mask. If you've been seeing kittens or cats, this is for you. I don't know about you guys, but I've been noticing a lot of moving trucks lately, especially more specifically Penske trucks. You know, yellow trucks that are used for moving for rental. Well, it's a rental truck, but you can utilize it for moving, kind of like a U-Haul. I've been seeing the U-Hauls too, but if I had to do more of a comparative analysis, if you will, I would say I've been seeing more Penske trucks than the U-Haul. So that might be for someone. That could also be a sign. I don't know if you guys could hear the sirens in the background. Yeah, I heard them. I hear it now. So anyhow, this may be for you. If you've been noticing a lot in terms of moving trucks, whether it's U-Haul or Penske, the yellow ones, might be something you might want to consider. Maybe that might be your sign to make that move that you've been considering. Furthermore, if you've been seeing crows, hearing them, I know for me, that could be something I've kind of noticed in my day-to-day. Like I might step out, then I hear a loud one just going off, like literally like consistently like loud as far as it's calling. And I'm just thinking like, this is so funny. And it tickles me when it happens. But I know it's for a reason. And each individual's reason, those who notice it, they know why. So for you, if you too are encountering this where you're seeing or hearing crows, or maybe you've seen owls in various forms, or as I mentioned in the previous video, maybe eagles, then this is for you. Another phrase I've seen quite heavily was, the best is yet to come. That can be something that is applicable in so many different aspects of one's life, whether it may be in love, Maybe it might be in career. Maybe it might be in regards to their life goals. It could also be in regards to a Trump slogan even. But it's funny when you notice those things and it's pretty consistent and it's heavily, that means it's something that is meant for you to see, to pick up on in terms of yourself as an individual. If it's something that resonates with you on such a grand scale, don't push it away as a coincidence, because I really do feel that in this day and age, there are so many people that are becoming aware, and we truly know there is no such thing as a coincidence. So don't question it. If it's something that sits with you, when you see something, hear something, and you're seeing it on a continuous basis where it's just consistent, it's kind of hard to deny it. Just know that that is a way, that the spiritual space, that is just one of God's ways of trying to get you to see something. Moving right along here. Another phrase I've been seeing is the notion of staying in your lane, meaning focus on what you need to do to better your scenario. Don't care about what the next guy is doing, because each individual on the face of this earth, in this education plane, we all have a journey, and our journey is conspicuous from the next guy. It's not going to all be the same. So you can't be focusing on what they're doing and how they're getting there. You have to focus on what you need to do, what you agreed to sign up for, and how you're going to get to the end, to that finish line. Another phrase I've seen, and I think it definitely resonates for me as well, because I'm one of those people that tend to like to have, what should I say, instant gratification, meaning like I like to be the one to have control of the situation, things to be done in a timely fashion my way. And I had to learn to pull back and just trust the process. So the phrase that I'm referring to is trust the process. It's so funny because even for a lot of us who are like, I would say Gen Xers on down, Gen Xers, millennials, Gen Z, you name it. I think with a lot of us, we're so used to wanting things done our way. Just like, come on. I'm guilty of it. Because I find that it's just more gratifying when I have more control of the situation, whatever it may be. I have to laugh because I know how I am. And in a lot of ways, I had to learn to pull back, as I mentioned in previous videos to you guys. In my journey, I had to learn to pull back and let God be God, and let the spiritual space do what they do best. As I mentioned in a previous video, just simply sitting back and watch them work. And in doing so, I came to realize, like, why didn't I do this sooner? And I'm pretty sure they're wondering, like, yeah, why didn't you do this sooner? So I say all that to say jokingly, of course, just learning to trust the process in all aspects of your life. Maybe it might be something you really want, or a relationship that you may really want to be in, and you're just like, God, why is it taking forever for this guy to get to me? Or, you're thinking like, why can't I just be there now? In regards to your career goals, or, whatever the case may be, whatever it may be, just know that if it's not there at the moment, it's for a good reason. And it's something that God, the spiritual team, is doing in the background that we are not privy to, and that we need to just sit back and allow them to take care of it, to allow it to take form, and just know that the end result is going to be phenomenal. Okay, also a few other words that I noticed I have on the other side of the paper here is the word break, or the phrase breakthrough. I think that is self-explanatory. I don't have to go into details on that. I really feel it just simply means that whatever you've been waiting for, just know it's right around the corner. It's pretty much there, and all you have to do is just be patient and just know it's going to break through eventually. I've been seeing also the word triumphant heavily, whether it was online, whether it was out where I was looking at maybe something in a piece of paper, like maybe a newspaper. Online, well, I did say online. Yeah, I mentioned that quite heavily. Also could have been on television. Maybe you heard it in a sermon. I'm pointing at the television right now because I'm actually watching Joel Osteen as we speak. I love his way of teaching. He's pretty phenomenal in his own way. But yeah, I'm just looking at it right now. But of course, I put it on mute because I don't want any copyright issues. But yeah, he's amazing to watch for sure. Also, some other words that I've been seeing, and this is going to be dealing with more of on a serious front, if you will. So again, I've been noticing the word inheritance. Also, the word probate or probate court. Okay. Illegal surveillance. Slander. Hate. Not that you should give a damn, because again, whoever this may be for, even if it's maybe for me, don't care about the hate, because the hate is not going to stop your train. Don't allow it. And that's how I view it. So from my side, even with me, I'll be naive to even think, oh, no one hates me. No, I'm sure I have some out there. And I'm sure they watch me and follow me just to see what I'm doing day to day. I'm not blind to that. You have to be a fool to think otherwise. But whether that would affect me or not, it doesn't. If anything, it just tickles me. The way I look at it, it tickles me on a level because when you know you have such a strong spiritual force behind you, i.e. God in the spiritual realm, and knowing that their hate can't touch you, that's the kicker right there. And I encourage others to have that same thought process when it comes to those who simply hate you. It's simply because they have something internally that they're battling that they can't seem to move beyond. And that is not for you to worry about. That's for them to take up with God. That's all that matters. So moving beyond that, focus on you, or as some of the, who was this? Who used to say this? Someone used to say, do you, boo? Like, do you, okay? Don't care about the other extra nonsense. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's not helping you to move forward in a positive way. So at that point, it should be no concern of yours. Moving right along. Corruption. Corruption is another word that I noticed as well. I also saw something in regards to, it's more so corruption in regards to the judicial system, I would say. I don't know if it's political per se. I don't think it's political. It could be dealing with some type of maybe political figure within your state that may be privy to what's going on and just chose to be mum because maybe they're being paid for something off to the side by not saying anything or intervening with it. But definitely noticed corruption quite heavily. I also saw something more so along the lines of court official. So this is what is leading me to understand it could be dealing with a judge, maybe someone who's been in their position for over 20 plus years. I felt that quite heavily, and that it could be someone who knows someone internally. So this is why I feel like in some way it could be dealing with a political figure within your state as well as a court judge who may have been buddy-buddy for quite some time, and in some way they may have agreed to give them a percentage of the money from whatever inheritance you should have been bestowed, but that was technically taken away from you. That's what I gathered from when I saw those words coming in back to back. I also picked up on the word sting. So there could be actually some type of sting that's getting ready to take place, or it may have already been done, but been kind of kept hush about. So if you have in any way seen or have this feeling that this is something that has been transpiring on your end, then this video is definitely for you. Another thing that I found to be very gratifying in knowing is when we talk about the higher ups, they know what's going on too. And the funny part about this is where I think this thing is coming into fruition, is because the fact I think this is where they are now stepping in. So do understand, if you are the one that is encountering this, or you feel like this is something that is aligned with what you've been seeing, as I mentioned before, this video is definitely for you. And furthermore, do understand that there is definitely a private investigator involved. And just so you know, they've been involved more than you could ever expect. They have been involved quite heavily as far as being behind the scenes and actually watching these individuals. So whether they've been messing with your bank accounts, if they've been infiltrating your emails or what you search for online, if they've been doing anything that is pertaining to the illegal surveillance, as I mentioned before, this is definitely for you. And just know, it's kind of like that whole notion, how the hunter now becomes the hunted. That was one I saw extremely heavily. I totally forgot about that one. I don't know how I forgot about that one. I've been seeing for like over a year. So do understand, while they were doing all those things, I think they were getting away with it. Like, oh, there is no way that the collective could know that I'm doing this or that I'm having these individuals do that behind the scenes. And they might have had this stuff done through some black web activity too. Do know this. There's been a PI on it the entire time, a private investigator watching them like a hawk and keeping tabs on every single thing they do, every single move they make, and the very individuals that they got involved in regards to that black web activity, they have been watching that too. The feds, see, this is getting deep. They know about it too. And it's hard to believe that all of this is actually transpiring because of some stolen property. Whether it may be a house that was left to you, and definitely money is involved with this as well. And to know that they did all this in hopes of getting you out of the equation, and in some way or another trying to have you knocked off for it, and they thinking that, oh, there's no way, especially if we got this judicial figure in the system, they're going to make sure no one knows that this actually has went down, and we're gonna walk away with the money and be happy. And at the end, and honestly thought that God was gonna allow that to happen. It blows my mind how people think, as I mentioned in a previous video, how people honestly think that they could trump God. Like, come on, you can't be that naive. You can't. It blows my mind. But at the same time, you being a part of the collective, I'm talking to you now. When you had all this stuff revealed to you, and again, everything I mentioned in this video, if you've seen any of it, and you're like, okay, maybe this was what you needed to see in terms of this video to let you know what you are witnessing, or what you've been witnessing is not a coincidence. It's for a reason. Just to think that all this just over money, over something that is tangible, but it's fleeting. People fail to realize, and this is getting deep. I'm gonna go ahead and get deep on this one for a minute. It blows my mind how in this world we could be so consumed and so focused on name brand, so focused on having the biggest house, the latest car, all of this stuff. We could be so focused so heavily on it. But at the end of the day, think about this. When it's time for these meat suits to return to the dust, because it's going to happen for every single person, the spirit lives on. But when it's time for this to return to the dust, are we going to be able to take any of those items with us? I think we all know, the answer. We're not going to take any of this with us. And at the end of the day, let's really talk about it. I want to just have like this little conversation with you guys. A lot of the stuff that we pay for is overpriced to begin with. We know that, right? I think we could agree, whether it's with Dior or Givenchy or Chanel, whatever the case may be, whatever that famous watchmaker is everybody's raving about, I think it's like a French name or something, some Philippe, whatever. The watches are really expensive. I see a lot of the celebrities wearing them, and whoever. Stuff doesn't even look all that appealing. But think about it. You put all this money into those type of items, but again, when time goes forward and it's time for this meat suit to go to rest, are those items coming with you? It's not. I mean, it's nice to be able to treat yourself once in a while, but to be so hungry when it comes to the money side of things, or just to try to keep up with the Joneses, knowing that that too is going to be a fleeting moment, because just as you've received it, it could be taken away from you. You know, whether God has bestowed it to you or whether the other, i.e., the devil, in some way given it to you, especially if he's gotten involved. You know for a fact it's not going to last that long. So to talk about those very individuals who did that, who may have actually stolen your property or any of the money that should have been bestowed to you that was left to you in an inheritance. As I mentioned, the whole thing with the probate or probate court, you might want to look into that. If you've been seeing that word, hearing it, whatever the case may be, and now you're hearing it in this video, look into it because this is pertaining to you. Think of this. The fact that they had to go through so many loopholes to actually get the money or get the house without you knowing. They should have known right then and there. There's a chance we're not going to be able to keep this much longer. Or there's a chance we're going to have to pay this back. Sadly enough, the fact that they went about it in such a bad way, now they're going to be stuck in a predicament where God is about to lay the smack down on them. The spiritual realm is really about to lay the smack down on them in a way where now they're about to be made an example of, i.e., they're going to probably have to serve time as well. Sucks to be them. But in your case, buckle up. That was another phrase I saw. I don't know. It's so funny. I just thought about this. Buckle up. Because, honey, you're going to be in for a good ride going forward at this point. 2024, this is going to be the year where those who have been overlooked, those who have been mistreated, those who've actually been, I guess you could say, or excommunicado, I want to get technical about it. This is going to be a year that those individuals are going to end up reaping what they deserve, meaning you. You're going to end up obtaining what you should have been given from the beginning, what was stolen from you. Don't sleep on that. Don't lose sight of that. Keep the faith and know that it's coming. Again, as I mentioned before, just trust the process. That is all for today's video. I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts. You guys have been on a roll. I have been getting your responses. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that interaction I have with you guys, the energy that we exchange, whether it's through email or if it's on in my little chat boxes. I love that. Keep that going. As you guys know, I'm not shy at all. I'm definitely a people person. So I love it. Just know that. And as I mentioned before, I do not leave people on red. So rest assured, I will interact with you if you ever reach out and decide to say hi or anything like that. I also want to welcome the new followers to my pages. I've been seeing you guys come in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And also, I want you guys to know that with this being a new month, I do have some spots available coming up this week for consultations. If it is something that is of interest to you, definitely take advantage. If you have any issues with scheduling an appointment and you just want to make sure I do have a certain time and day available, just reach out to me. And if I do, that's great. Because, you know, I do work as well. So if I do, that's great. If not, we can always schedule it for another day or time that works best for us both. Also, I do outside of work and outside of consultations, I actually am into motivational speaking as well as keynote speaking as well. So that's more of my field house. And if it's something that you would like for me to speak on at your event, maybe have someone from your organization reach out to me and we would need to discuss the details from there. But other than that, you guys, I am definitely sending you with love and light. And I will see you in the next video. And hopefully this video can help someone to go ahead and finally make the next steps they need to make in terms of their life, whether it may be moving or really looking into this situation as far as the probate side of the spectrum, or with the inheritance, if you will. So as always, be blessed, you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.